I therefore wish to assure everyone that the ministry is actively working to ensure the provision of safe, reliable, sustainable energy at a time like this when we are dispatching so much of hydro, which goes to the grid at about 3 to 4 cents US. We should be seeing cost of power coming down because we'll slow down on diesel. But more importantly, even as we lower the cost of power, we want to make sure one at the core, our people in Garissa are not impacted. And the impact at the moment are the flash waters out of those rivers from the Meru Mountain, Nyambene, and like I said, Tharaka-Nithi and so on and so forth. At the moment we are generating about 80%, I was told what, 82%?
82%.
82% from this
Capacity.
cascade, which is quite good. We have gone as low as 30% previously. And so like I said, we'll see the cost of power coming down. It's good if we have this kind of hydro the whole year, but importantly, we live in times of serious climate change. COP28 is when? Next week?
Yes.
And we'll be talking about these things. Rains during seasons when it is not supposed to be rainy season, and drought when there's not supposed to be drought. So we'll continue also to work in the ecosystem conservation. In our ministry, we have a target of 30 million trees. And I think when you come around here, you'll see that we are maintaining and conserving the environment. The cost will come down immediately. You know, the cost of power is a daily energy mix. We could actually compute what the cost of power is today. But because it goes to the bill, and the cost of power yesterday is in the bill, that is done monthly, the cost of our power in the month is the average for the month. So if we have this situation for a whole month, you then get a situation where if you have used so much water, you will see the fuel charge cost in your bill very insignificant. So if we run a 3% diesel generation every day, you will see almost your cost coming down significantly because we did not use diesel, which is a pass-through cost, and equally the cost of generating on those diesel engines, the energy charge plus the capacity charge plus of course the fuel charge is so significant. So the build-up every day is very low, and therefore the cost we have today is as low as we are using the hydro today. But because we bill on monthly basis, it could have an average of 3 weeks ago when we were not using so much water. But you should be able to see the lowest cost of fuel pass-through cost in the month of December, in the month of January, because when these dams are full, we should be able to run on hydro comfortably for the next 3-4 months. And therefore the cost of our bills in the next, now going forward to the 3-4 months, will be significantly low. We are closely monitoring the impact of these heavy rains and are prepared to take all necessary action to ensure the safety of our people. We have activated our emergency response system and working closely with local authorities to monitor the situation, and we are now receiving daily inflows, outflows, how they are rising. They are now rising at about 0.7 of a meter every day, and that means a dam like Masinga here can take another 7 days to fill. So if these rains continue in 7 days, we'll see some spillage running down, and rather than just get the spillage, we'll start then generating and utilizing that so that we don't just spill, but more importantly manage downstream to make sure we give early warnings. I would like to urge Kenyans, especially like has been mentioned by Kenyan CEO, living down lowlands like Garissa, that as we work together, DECO, we will work on mitigation measures to ensure that it does not impact on the lives of our people. Currently, the challenge we are seeing in Garissa are the rivers from the Meru area, Nyambene. This is some of the Tharaka-Nithi, the Mount Kenya, and of course from this area. If we are feeding at 0.7 of a meter, if you divide 0.7,
10 days.
that is 10, just slightly over 10 days, about 11 days is 77, about 11 days, 12 days. That is if we continue feeding at 0.7. If we continue feeding at 1 meter, then we have fewer days. And that is why when I said we are monitoring on daily basis, these guys will tell you in the morning, we were here, we are now here. And we are not just talking, we keep records. And that information informs us and informs the government on preparation and mitigation measures in terms of managing downstream.
We came to assess the situation of the dams because downstream Garissa is one of the most affected towns and parts of Tana River. So we came to see what is the situation is, and I want to confirm that as of now the dams are not to maximum capacity, and there is no spillage from the dams. We went all the way to the farthest dam, Kiambere, which releases water into the Tana River down. So as the situation is now, Garissa is already flooded. A quarter of the old town of Garissa, those who know, is underwater. So our biggest fear was if these dams get filled, overflows, and then water is released into the main river, then it means we'll have a very difficult situation in Garissa. The situation will be very, very bad. That means half of Garissa will again be underwater, and that will be a very disastrous situation for us. For us, we have not seen this kind of. We always had this belief that the water was coming from the dams, but this time we have confirmed that the water is not actually from the dams, but from the main rains that happened after the dams. So we have been talking to the Waziri and his team to see how they will manage this water before it is full, and we're hopeful that we'll get the updates from the ministry on the situation of the dams as per day. And we are asking the ministry also to fast track this construction of the high ground dam downstream to save us from this problem. Garissa has actually had the biggest challenge. Every year when we have these rains, the town is flooded, farms are destroyed. So we must look for a solution so that we don't cry every now and then when there is rain and when there is drought.
But mine is to just alert Kenyans that the increased water levels are good and are good for our power bills, because the more we are generating with the hydros, the cheaper our power bills will become. So there is also good news for Kenyans that let us not look at the flooding only. Let us also look at what it will do to the cost of living, and the increased water levels, the increased generation from our hydros means that the next couple of months we may see reduced power bills, simply because we are generating more from hydro and reducing our thermal generation, and currently we are just generating about 4 to 5% of our power from the thermal generators.
Since we made our last statement sometimes last week, we have witnessed increased water inflows, particularly in the Kamburu Dam, which receives water from Thiba River as well. As of last night, Kamburu Dam levels were at 1,005.82 meters above sea level, against a maximum capacity of 1,006.5 meters above sea level. We have witnessed a big jump this week at Kamburu, and we expect that we will be reaching the maximum levels either over the weekend, this weekend now, or early next week, should the water's inflows remain as they are now. Consequently, we are upping generation activities in the lower dams, notably Kamburu, Gitaru, Kindaruma, and Kiambere, to ensure we optimize the increasing levels of water we are getting at the same time, giving Kenyans reprieve in the form of cheaper power. As for Masinga, the levels are still low despite the ongoing rains, as you can see for yourselves. According to our daily dispatch reports, we have also seen improved water levels at Masinga Dam, which is Kenya's largest, reaching water levels of 1,047.51 meters above sea level, surpassing minimum operational levels of 1,037 meters above sea level that was there recently. This was after we received 37 millimeters of rainfall in the area, enhancing inflow from the river Tana into the dam. Despite the encouraging rainfall, the Masinga Dam levels are still short of reaching their maximum water level of 1,056.5 meters above sea level. And however, considering the rising levels in the lower dams, we call upon residents in the lower areas of Tana to exercise caution. We continue to urge those living proximately to major rivers and dams to remain alert and relocate to higher grounds if necessary to prevent any potential loss of lives and property.
In 5 days.
Mzuri, kinyamaza utatoka hapa bila picha. Naona wanaelewa. Wanataka kuleta protocol. Vile hii picha ni tamu. Kidogo. Sawa.
Even the costs are not on the owners. So you can really convince people. So at that time all Kenyans are angry. But
kuna story nilifanya Lita. Mama, hii place inakaa super. Nilikuwa kushow. Shika. Mimi nilipigiwa picha hapa na sijui tunua picha yake.
Ukiambia utembelee hapa.
I'm not kidding.
Headline is 697.24. 697.24. Correct. 700.